Get Rich Slow with John Wolfe. Hey, it might actually surprise you to know that I was denied for my mortgage. This was back in 2017, and I went out to try to see if I could buy a house or get financed for a house that I found out about through a friend. And this was the same September time period of 2017 when I was getting married, and I went to the local credit union that I'd always banked at as a kid, and I thought it would be a shoo-in because I had a good job I've been doing for more than 2 years. I had great credit, never had anything late, and I even had a down payment. And the loan officer there basically told me that people like me couldn't get home loans, or at least not on properties like the one I was asking about. And I was kind of shocked because she thought that because of my job, she thought that because the house I was looking at wasn't in excellent condition, and even though I had money to put down, that I just couldn't get a home loan. So I was actually pretty devastating, and it was super embarrassing that it happened right in front of the wonderful woman who is now my wife. So anyways, I was very let down by that, but if you know me at all, and you could probably tell by the number of videos I make, I'm not exactly a quitter. I think the saying that, winners just lose more often is a little bit true. But anyways, so I, was asking people advice and talking around, and then the guy who actually used to be the tax accountant for my mom, since I was a little kid, I just asked him about it. And he referred me to someone. I talked to them. They said, hey, this could be a little complicated. It'll probably take more than 30 days, but yeah, I think you can do this, really no problem. We just got to work through all the steps. And we did. And 60-ish days later, I owned that house, and it was awesome. And you can learn more about that specific purchase on my video, my first home purchase, crazy and amazing. But anyways, I was, denied for that mortgage. And the difference really between working with the first credit union person and working with the second person is the second person was just willing to do some extra paperwork. That's it. It wasn't a subprime loan. It wasn't a higher interest rate. It wasn't requiring giant sums of money down. It wasn't doing anything weird. I ended up getting a 15-year conventional. Wish I would have done a 30, but hey, that's the past. Anyways, no big deal at all. So that's actually not even that's the first mortgage I got denied for. But between 2007 and through 2018, I was actually denied for a handful, 6 or 7 home equity lines. And what was really crazy to me is I, went online and I just looked up everybody's interest rates. And I kind of found 6 of them, 7 of them. And I asked the home loan guy who helped me get the home loan in the first place, who he recommended. I put those on the list, but they weren't the very cheapest. They weren't crazy more expensive. I think the entire range was 3.7 through 5.4%. Which is real money, but it's not a lot of money. But anyways, the lowest one did the full application. They said no problem. And then when I called them and said, okay, I'm ready, let's turn it on. They said, okay, well, we're not set up yet. And a week later, they denied me. And then I called, the second cheapest credit union. And I said, hey, I'm ready to go with that home equity line. Can they turn it on? And they said, yeah, sure, no problem. It's going to take us a few days to set it up. I was like, cool. Get working on that. And then about a week later, I called them. They didn't call me. And I said, hey, what's going on with the home equity loan? They're like, yeah, we don't think we can offer you a home equity loan at this time. And they cited the fact that, I had changed jobs in the last year because after working with the guy who helped me get my home loan, he immediately hired me and wanted to teach me how to make other people's dreams come true to do home loans, because I was actually really passionate about it and I obviously really cared. But anyways, I got denied for that one, and that home loan. And then the third home equity line, exact same thing happened. Fourth, the exact same thing happened. The fifth, I think I stopped there because I skipped over the rest of the credit unions, was a place called Banner Bank. Great local bank in the Portland area if you need just some basic old school banking services. And talked to them. He said, yeah, it looks like a little bit of a trick to get your home equity line, but let's go for it. And so we went for it. And surprise, surprise, they were able to do it. They didn't care that I switched from one job to another within the same, super broadly speaking industry. They just took my 2-year average and said, like, cool, you make enough money. And it's not exactly that simple. I'm sure there's a lot of back-end paperwork, but the difference again, both in original home loan and in home equity line was, there are a bunch of loan officers out there, and it's not unique to one company or other, but the hardworking loan officers tend to congregate over in one direction. But there's a bunch of hardworking loan officers out there who work really tirelessly to make good things happen for their clients, and they're willing to do the extra paperwork to make stuff work. And then there are a bunch of loan officers out there who, if there is like one tiny complication, they're just done. And some organizations facilitate the people who want to work hard to make the dreams work for the people when it's not super easy, and some of the places don't facilitate that. So just for an example, like with my credit union, the credit union, as soon as there was one a little bit complicated thing, my income wasn't the same every month and the house wasn't in excellent shape, they were just done with the discussion. And I'm sure that if that loan officer would have really wanted to push, we might have been able to get something. But the credit union isn't set up to let loan officers who want to do good things for their client do it. It's just spin the wheel. If there's anything that would slow down the wheel, just throw it to the side. And it sucks to be the person who's thrown to the side. It really does. I felt it. And then there's a lot of private mortgage lenders, and there's a lot of companies, and I work for the one that I think is the best, Caliber Home Loans, but there are others, and they do a fine job, and they're all unique in their own special great ways. But most of the loan officers who are willing to fight hard for individual clients work at private mortgage lenders, and that's because the bureaucracy and the system that exists in credit unions and just like banks like US Bank doesn't facilitate me trying to reach into the process, do extra steps, and make something work for a client. It just doesn't. And then there are other places which are even technically private mortgage lenders, your big online names like USAA, Quicken, and Veterans United, just to name a few. And Veterans United is the best of that bunch. However, when you work with those places, they hire loan officers who sit in cubicles who probably are personally doing a couple hundred loans at a time, and they only do a tiny bit of the process. Then they hand it out to an assistant who's not really their assistant. It's an assistant the company owns and uses, and they have very little hand in the process, and they really have too many clients to have a strong hand in any one of them. Although there are a few great loan officers, so I'm not like besmirching the whole group, but that setup isn't conducive. The setup at most private mortgage lenders is, you have one loan officer who's probably handling 50 files or less at once, and depending on the number of files, he has assistants hired specifically to help him get those done. And I have an assistant who helps get my paperwork done individually. She updates me at every step. I make sure she's on target. She makes sure all the other places are on target, and she takes care of all the details, where I try to get out there and talk to new clients, new real estate agents, and try to figure out plans or strategies to get the most bang for the buck for some people, or to get the home at all for other people. So anyways, that's sort of your little snapshot into my experience getting denied for a mortgage. God, that felt awful. And so I definitely know if you're calling me up and you have been turned down for a mortgage, or you've been ignored for a mortgage, I can't promise that I'm always going to be able to make it work for you, but I do 100% promise every time that I will give you all the respect in the world. I will tell you what you can do to get there, or we're going to get it done together. And that's just the long and the short of it. So anyways, if you like my channel, if you like what I'm trying to do here, please smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and share it off to a friend. Have an awesome day. Bye.